What's up, everybody? Welcome to my tutorial for Anna Williams. She is finally back in Tekken 7, and I feel like she's a lot stronger than she used to be. She fits the game pretty well, a couple of little changes here and there, really revamped this sort of character. Feels fresh, feels new. So I'm going to go over everything I usually do, the whole move list and stances and transitions, combos and all that stuff. But before you get too bogged down in the details of memorizing every little string and the options, focus instead on one thing. This character thrives on tenacity and mix-ups. You want to keep on them, you want to cancel into stances and mix them up. You never want to give them a minute to think about what you're doing, and you never want to do the same thing twice in a row. So as long as you keep it fresh and keep it just a little bit wild, you'll have plenty of success with this character. Starting off with Anna's punishers, you find a kind of mixed bag in here, which makes sense if she's an offensive rushdown kind of character. She doesn't have the best tools for defensive punishing. She has some cool stuff, but it's not the conventional block and punish. A 10-frame punisher, most characters can do 1-2 jabs, which she can do. But the real shining star here is 2-3. This move is a natural combo, high mid, but 2-3 hold back leaves Anna in the Chaos Judgement stance. We'll talk about all the stances and transitions at length later, but keep it in mind that anything that lets you go into your stances is a really, really good option. And this is a 10-frame punish that gives her ready to do one of these mix-ups. Very good punishing tool. 2-3, hold back. She doesn't have anything else until 13 frames, where she has down forward 1-2. Pretty much like any other character's down forward 1, except hers starts strings. She can do down forward 2, down forward 1-2, which is guaranteed, and then one of 3 things afterward: a 3 mid kick, a 4 high kick, or cancel that into the stance. So just having a punish that leads into a mix up, again, very good thing. 14 frames. She has the hip check with forward 2 plus 3. It's just not a very good option. Forward 2 then 3 is much better. This is a high string, but it's a natural combo and it causes the spin backwards. Down forward 3-4 is also very good. Nice amount of damage and causes a knockdown. Knockdowns are always good. This is a nice choice to have for a 14-frame punish. But instead of down forward 3-4, you can do down forward 3-2, which is still a natural combo, but also leads to the string options like that. There's a ton of other things you can do in there. So again, punishment, free damage that leads into a good setup for mix-ups, very good thing. You can go for damage, or you can go for the options that follow. Continue your offense from there. 15 frames, Anna doesn't have a launcher. She has back 2-2, and that's pretty much it. You can get this little thing for free, but it's a little bit tricky sometimes. You'd have to practice it, and it seems sort of situational. But that's really all she gets at 15. She doesn't have a basic launcher there. Her basic launcher is down forward 2, and it is 16 frames. The trade-off there, I guess, is it's only minus 12 on block. Big deal. I'd rather have it be 15 so I could launch conventional stuff with it. But that is what it is. 17 frames, she has forward 3. This little kick works pretty well. It's got nice range, but unfortunately 17 is the best you're going to get for it. So it kind of works pretty well for long distance with punishing. You just have to be ready to tap forward plus 3 that quickly. It's not an easy muscle memory to build. Anna's while standing punishers are also a little bit different. She has a 4, but her 3 is the exact same thing. And this 3, when you hold back, also goes into Chaos Judgement. So that's a better option. Punish things with while standing 3 and hold back, and you're ready for the mix-up. 13 frames is while standing 1-2, which we'll see later is an identical string to down forward 1-2. They're the exact same thing. Mix-ups and follow-ups are the same thing. And there's nothing else really until 17 where she could do forward 3 because it'll crouch cancel. If you block low and then do forward 3, that'll come out. So she doesn't have anything else in between. There's no good launcher until she gets all the way to 17 because her while standing 2 is 19 frames. It's just not good enough. You really need a hard stagger block in order to get that punish. So the first things that I want to look at are Anna's stances. The Chaos Judgement and her crouch dash. These are the two most functional things that she has in terms of the mix-ups and their rewards. And a lot of her offense is geared towards transitioning into those two things. So let's take a look at what they do. The Chaos Judgment stance you can enter on its own by just pressing back 3, and there'll be a litany of strings that you can hold back during, and she will cancel into this stance. We'll go over all of those later, but for now, the options from this stance are the 1 attack, which looks like that. And you notice the really big stagger Nina takes backwards is because this is plus 15 on hit. You can see that back 2-2 is free. She cannot block that. Anything that's faster than that would be guaranteed. I use this one a lot, the forward 2-3, just because it's got really good damage. Oops. That's also good for the knockdown. As we saw in the Punisher section, all of your 14 stuff is really good. But that's plus 15 on hit. And you'll see that particular punch in a couple other places. They're all like that. You get guaranteed follow-ups when it lands. So that's a really good choice. Starting off with Chaos Judgment 1. Very good. Chaos Judgment 2, then 1. Not as good. It's just a basic poke. There's nothing like remarkable about it. It's just meant to be a poke and go right back into typical offense. Keep them guessing. 3 is a mid kick that launches on counter hit. Takes a little bit of a step forward, so it's got decent range, but on counter hit, you get a whole combo. Chaos Judgment 4 is a low that knocks you down. There's nothing free here. You don't pick them up into a combo, but you can hit them with low stuff. As they attempt to try to stand up and, avoid what you're going to do, you can get some, follow-up options at least, but nothing is really free. Chaos 1+2 is this. Used to be a bound move in Tag 2, now is just a mid low hitting attack. This will hit most grounded opponents at the wall. It's safe on block. It's only -4 and it forces them to crouch, but on hit you get a really nice advantage of your own. So this is a nice tool just to kind of keep them honest with a mid and then go into it. If you're pretty sure they're not going to get counter hit, if you think they're going to get antsy and press a move, you fish for the counter hit. If they're not, then you just do something like this, which kind of messes them up by forcing the crouch. She also has the hip check, which you can do by 2+3. You don't have to press forward in this case. But it's honestly not a very good move out of this, considering the other ones that this is mid. Oops. Excuse me. This is mid, and this is a mid that counter hit launches. The hip check isn't really a very good option considering how unsafe it is. It's like -16 on block. There's no reason to go for that when you have plenty of other choices out there. This one is a much better choice. She has down 3-3, which looks like that. It's a low-high string that's a natural combo, keeps them standing, and you have good frame advantage to keep going. They will start to see that. They can duck it if they can see the low coming. It is not going to jail or anything, so just be warned that it is low-high. But the whole point of Anna is to keep them guessing. They'll never have the time to take a breath, and guess what you're going to do. She has a hop kick. You can press up forward 4 and get a conventional hop kick out of it. Typical combo there. As well as being able to cancel Chaos Judgment into a forward roll by tapping forward like that. This roll has 2 options, which are forward 3, crumples him over, and forward 4, which flips him up in the air. Both are natural launchers. The 3 is a mid attack that's only -11 on block, but it is a launcher. You have to do a limited combo because of the way they crumple, but for a natural launcher to be relatively safe, not bad. The 4, however, is a high. This is what they're going to call Frost Needle. You'll see this in a couple of other strings. It's that handstand high attack that launches. This is -13, even though it's a high, but you do get a full combo off of it, and not a limited combo or anything. So she can do that out of Chaos Judgment, go into a roll where both of her options are mid or high. There's no low there. So you could just roll and then kind of stop and then poke them with low to keep the mix up honest. And the other thing she can do out of Chaos Judgment is press down forward to go into her crouch dash. This is one of the few ways she has the transition directly into it, so keep that in mind too. If they're used to guessing these mix-ups, you can crouch dash on them and do other things like that nice elbow. The other 2 major things to note about Chaos Judgment are that it automatically will hop kick any low attack. Let me record Nina doing such a thing. She'll do a jab and then a down 3. Automatically hop kicks. The computer does it all on its own. Free hop kick. Whole combo and all that. So if they attempt to hit you low in the middle of that, they're getting launched for it. The other thing that it can do is automatically reverse throws. Whoops. Start recording. Like that. So I'm going to set Nina to do throws and watch what happens here. And it grabs that throw and flips her over automatically. So you really can't argue with those two options. If they happen to try to go for a low or to throw you to break up your offense, they're going to get destroyed if you went into Chaos Judgment at that time. So that's kind of handy to have, as well as being one of your primary sources of dangerous mix-up. Auto combos against lows and auto reverses throws. Not too shabby. The other major stance quote that Anna has is her crouch dash. It's quarter circle forward. She does the little crouch thing and has nice follow-ups afterward. There is no backwards dash like Nina, just the forward one. So her crouch dash options are quarter circle 1, which is this elbow. This is anywhere from +2 to +5 on block, which is very good. And on counter hit, it launches. You can do it several more times. There's all kind of options after that. So that's a really good tool to just throw out there and keep them in a frame trap. And if you catch that launcher, you get really nice damage off of it. Crouch dash 2-1 looks like this. Natural combo, mid-mid, pretty unsafe on block. It's like -14, I think. But in this case, the first hit also counter hit launcher. Quarter circle forward 2 is a counter hit launcher. But if you let the whole string rip, you're going to miss out on the combo. So be warned. Your other choice with this is to do quarter circle 2-1 and hold back. That cancels that second hit and goes into Chaos Judgment. So that's another way to keep them guessing. If you just throw this out by itself looking for the counter hits, you can finish the string, or you can pretend to finish the string and go for Chaos Judgment that way. All are good choices. Just be warned, that's really unsafe. If they don't bite on your mix-up, they'll get punished for it. Quarter circle 3-2 looks like that. Natural combo again, mid-high. They can duck this if it doesn't connect. They can block the mid and duck the high. But it's a pretty decent option. It's nice damage. You can use it at the end of combos and stuff like that, or when you're getting close to the wall. It's also a screw attack. The other things here are quarter circle 3-3-1 and 3-3-4. These, in my book, are completely fucking useless. There's just nothing there. They're all highs. It's mid, high, high, and mid, high, high. They're going to duck that. As soon as they see these straight kicks coming out, they're just going to start to duck. There's nothing you get out of this situation. If they happen to be foolish enough to get hit by that, that's the same hit that's +15. Which isn't going to happen. Again, there's nothing to force them to stand there. They're going to duck. So I would kind of just throw those away in my mind and stick to quarter circle 3-2. They can still also get ducked, but I think it's just a better usage to have because at least it's a natural combo when you hit them and it knocks down. Crouch dash 4 is this little mid-mid kick. Very good at crushing highs, maybe even some mids. She gets very low to the ground, knocks them down, and it's only like -12. It's not the best move she has, but it's pretty tricky. If you're going to do like transitions into crouch dash and they want to try to blow you up with jabs, this is a good choice to try to beat that jab. It works on stuff like that. The other option she has out of crouch dash is quarter circle 1+2, which is her chain throw. I'm not going to cover all that here. It doesn't mean anything. This throw has 3 different options after it. 2 of those options have their own options. So she can chain 3 throws together. I'll put them all in the notes in the description so you can see what they are and what the breaks are. But they're just like any other chain throw. If they don't break along the way, you keep getting free damage. So it's a tool to have. It's a legitimate tool. When you're doing stuff like that and they're not on guard, they might forget to break throws. So don't forget to mix that up in there too. But those are Anna's 2 primary forms of attack. There's lots of moves that go in and around it, but that's what she wants to focus on is her crouch dash stuff, the Chaos Judgment stance, as well as a couple other things that we'll get to later. So I just wanted to cover those so that you have a good reference point for what you want to do out of other basic moves. When we start talking about strings like this that cancel into Chaos Judgment, now you know why we want to do such a thing. Now let's go through the rest of Anna's basic move list with an emphasis on what transitions into the other and how you're supposed to use these things. I'll do a section at the end that lists all the possible transitions, at least the ones that I know about, from into crouch dash, sidestep, whatever they might be, all together. I'll just mention, oh, this goes into that as we go through the list. The list is fairly long, but there's a lot of patterns to it. There's a lot of the same string buried inside other strings. So it's not daunting like lay. So let's just kind of go down the list. I'll quickly mention, oh, here's a chance for you to go into cat stance or whatever it is. And then we'll recap the whole thing by talking about what moves are the best and what transitions you have available. So to get started, she has 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 4. You're going to see this crap a lot. A high kick, low kick, whatever option in the middle of these strings. They are everywhere. That's one thing that keeps the basic strings honest. Because once she starts doing all this stuff to you, it's almost always a high. There's highs everywhere. Look at that. That whole sequence was high. If you just stand there and take it, you know, nothing's worse for wear, but you start ducking and Anna starts getting destroyed. Nina too. They both share a lot of these strings in common. So they do have low options in the middle of them. So you're going to see that pattern a lot, either like 4 or down 4 to go high or low, etc. So 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 4 are counterparts in that way. She has 1, 2, 1. As well as just 2, 1. These are exactly the same string, just one without the first hit or not. They both have the same options, which are 1, 2, 1, 4, high launcher, or 1, 2, 1, down 4, low kick. This is called frost needle. 1, 2, 1. That 4 kick is called a frost needle. We'll get to that later. That shows up in a couple other places. And it's a mid launcher. Its counterpart, or excuse me. That's a high, and his counterpart is a low. So again, if you start doing these strings, they want to duck on you, so you got to be careful. 1, 2, 1, and 2, 1. Both have those options. 4 or down 4. Some of the other basic strings are 1, 4. Quick high low, just like that. Boom, boom. Natural combo, by the way. Isn't it? No, maybe it's not a Sippy block. Is it? I feel like one of those is. Yeah, it is. That's the only one. 1, 4 is a natural combo. So that's a nice little trick to have at your disposal. 2, 4, however, is high, high. Not a natural combo. 2, 3 is a mid. Like this, which is your 10-frame Punisher, if you remember. And 2, down 3 is a low, like that. So even after her 2 jabs, she has all of 3 options. A high, a mid, and a low. The mid's the only one that's natural, and the mid is the one that takes you into Chaos Judgment stance. So always remember that. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Keep that in your head. Kick strings, she has 3, 3, and down 3. And again, that hit is the exact same hit. Whether you start with the down 3 or you go 3, 3, the results are the same. Your options there are 2 for that mid launcher, or 4, 1, which is a high mid follow-up. Same thing if you start. Again, these are the exact same string, just 2 different ways to start. You can start with the low, down 3, 4, 1, or do 3, 3, 4, 1, exact same results. This mid hit, this third hit right there is new to Tekken 7. She didn't have that before. Nina got a similar addition with this heel kick that puts a mid back into a sequence of highs to make you stand up. You can't just stay ducking all day. This is going to catch you eventually. And that third hit, the mid hit, will counter hit launch an opponent. They probably pick them up like that. So those, whenever you see that mid occur in a string, you do get combos there. So that's a nice new addition. A mid to keep the whole thing honest, as well as a counter hit launcher. So that's 3, 3, high low, or down 3, go directly into a low. She also has 3, 4, boom, boom, high kicks, natural combo. Pretty decent little tool just to keep throwing out there. But again, they're going to be looking for options to duck. That's your way out of a lot of these things is duck. So be careful doing things that are high. That's 3, 4, and then 4, 3 is high low, but it's not a natural combo. It's just there to keep everything looking unusual. There's all of these kick strings. They all kind of look the same, and there's highs, lows, and mids everywhere. So that's the game plan, is mixing up the strings. Just be careful about doing things that are consistently high. People are going to look for places to duck. For moves that have a forward input, we have forward 2, 3, which as we saw in the 14-frame Punisher, pretty good move overall. This is also they can duck, but it is natural, and it causes that spin back. Enemies are going to want to use this just because it's an overall strong move, despite being the high. That's forward 2, 3. Forward 3, 2 is this. Also natural combo. They basically took a bound move from Tag 2 and turned it into a tailspin in Tekken 7. There used to be a move that would hit you downward to the ground. Now it's more laterally and causes you to spin. Kind of same result. Both of these you can use in combos. You're going to see them a lot. Forward 2, 3 or forward 3, 2. They're both screw attacks. With forward 3, 2, actually, which is forward 3 by itself, you can hold back to go into Chaos Judgment. Once you've done the 2, it's too late. So if you're doing this all day, you know, and they're seeing you throw that move out in neutral, which isn't the best move to throw out in neutral, you stop halfway and start doing this, and then they're going to realize, okay, I was expecting something and I got something different. That's your chance to hit them with lows, hop kicks, whatever it is. Forward 4 is this big lunging kick. This used to do so much damage in Tag 2. They toned it down a little bit, but it's still a pretty strong attack. She's airborne, she's going to crush through lows, she covers a huge amount of distance and knocks you down with it. Forward 4 is a pretty good move. Forward 1+2 is the Blonde Bomb that both her and Nina have. And this is a slightly different version of it. Mid knockdown hit, but not safe on block. It's a good enough move, but you're going to get punished for it quite a lot. This might just be a better kind of move, forward 4. But they're both there. And the last forward input is the hip check, forward 2+3. Not a very good move in general. It's not as fast as a lot of other characters' shoulders who kind of just like jab the shoulder to catch you off guard. It's not that fast. It's really negative on block. You're better off to do something like this. You get more damage and the knockdown, and it's much easier to deal with. So the hip check is there. It's kind of fun to like end combos with and all that, but as far as a move goes, stuff like down forward 3-4 is way better. There are better options out there that are nowhere near as unsafe. So into the down forward options, there's going to be one for every button. 1, 2, 3, and 4 all lead to different things. So down forward 1, we mentioned down forward 1, 2 at the top is a 13 frame string. This is identical to while standing 1, 2. So again, keep that in mind. 2 different ways to get to the same sequence. Down forward 1, 2, 3 is that mid kick. 1, 2, 4 is that high kick. The high, anytime you see a big high 4 kick like that, they're usually screw attacks. This is also one. Down forward 1, 2, 3 is the mid that keeps them honest. And also, you hold back to cancel that kick into Chaos Judgment. This kick is called Radiant Arc, and get used to that. You'll see it in a couple places too. Down forward 1, 2, 3, or cancel the 3 by holding back into Chaos Judgment. And go for lows, whatever, from there. But that's all the options of the down forward 1, 2, the mid or the high. So that's a simple one. They're not all that simple. Down forward 2 is your basic launcher. Slower than you'd like, but a more or less a general launcher. Down forward 3 gets a little bit deeper, because now this has another follow-up for each of those 4 buttons as well. Down forward 3, 1 looks like that. She does a little bit of a spin around and hits you like this. This you can hold back also to cancel that second hit into Chaos Judgment, or into a sidestep by pressing up or down. Press up or down, she cancels and goes to the side without delivering that second hit. Very, very good tool, especially when you see this one. Players are going to use this all day and cancel into sidestep, cancel into crouch dash. You start doing this one and it cancels that hit altogether, messes with their timing. So that's down forward 3, 1. It also has its fair share of follow-ups. The simplest one of those is down forward 3, 1, 2. Just another quick jab and that's it. Down forward 3, 1, 4, 2 looks like that. Adds more hits to it. That is another point for you to cancel into sidestep. Down forward 3, 1 goes to sidestep. Down forward 3, 1, 4, 2 also goes into sidestep. Like that. And instead of that sidestep, there are 3 more options. Down forward 3, 1, 4, 2, 3. Looks like that. Just a high hit at the end. Down forward 3, 1, 4, 2. Up forward 3 does that. That jumping kick, which is the same as just up forward 3 by itself. That's a pretty good attack. It's mid and it crushes over lows, safe on block. So she kind of want to do that a lot, because the other option is the Blonde Bomb, that move, which is very unsafe. So more often than not, she wants to end that whole long-ass sequence with that, because that's just a better move. She can get jabbed out of it. If you're waiting for your chance to poke back, you could stop her with a jab in the middle of that, but it's kind of risky. So down forward 3, 1 is pretty crazy. 2 places in this sequence of 5 hits for her to cancel into sidestep, and then do other stuff from there. Or she can end the whole thing with 3 different attacks on its own. So down forward 3, 2 is pretty much the same thing. It's just a little more conventional, in my opinion. It only cancels right here into sidestep or into crouch dash. She can go into her crouch dash moves from that. And down forward 3, 2 follows up with a 1 jab. Looks just like it did before, right? Down forward 3, 1, 2. Pop up. Down, forward, 3, 2, 1. Pop, pop. The same kind of little jab timing. In this case, one of your options is frost needle, which is that. 3, 2, 1, 4. Or down, forward, 3, 2, 1, down 4 for that low kick. So we see the same thing that occurred out of the 1, 2, 1 string. 1, 2, 1, frost needle, down, forward, 3, 2, 1, frost needle, same results. High launcher, one of your options, backed up by a low. So if you pay attention closely, what you're seeing here is mid, high, 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 or mid, high, high, low. And ducking destroys all of those options. So that's why she has to be fresh with canceling it into other things and keeping you from being comfortable ducking. But if players aren't keen to it, if they're just going to bide their time, you can get away with doing stuff like this or go for the low hit. Because a lot of times the mix-ups are high-low and a lot of times they're mid-low. So if they just want to duck the whole time, your mids will catch them. So they might be a little leery of just ducking on reaction. It's your job to make them even more leery. Some of the other things are down, forward, 3, 2, 3. Simple high kick like that. Or down, forward, 3, 2, 4. Looks like this. High kick. Screw attack in this case. Useful in combos for sure. Decent amount of damage. Kicks him to the wall. Or down, forward, 3, 2, down 3. Whoops. Is the low right there. So the third hit there, instead of doing the jab into its follow-ups, you could do your third hit into a high or low kick mix up again. 3, 2, 4 is a high, 3, 2, down 3 like that. Again, they're going to be leery, but they do want to duck. That's the thing they want to try to beat some of these strings. So the lows will keep them annoyed and start making them duck. That's when you switch off into doing mid options, like going into crouch dash and doing that. Okay, down, forward, 3, 3. We've seen this before because your two follow-ups are 3, 3, 1 and 3, 3, 4. We saw this in the crouch dash section. Same thing. 3 total kicks with an ender that are all highs. That's mid, high, high, high. Mid, high, high, high. So there's very little use to that. I wouldn't get used to doing that. You're never going to catch anybody. Once they start seeing these kicks come out, it's duck town. There's no reason to get off that train. Dude, it's duck and everything is yours. So you really can't ever finish these strings unless your opponent is completely flustered. Down, forward, 3, 3, not that good. Down, forward, 3, 4 is way better because that's natural combo that knocks you down. If you're going to go for a known high, make it that one. In my opinion, you could probably almost completely forget that down, forward, 3, 3 exists because down, forward, 3, 2 or 3, 4 is super good. 3, 2 gets you into strings, 3, 4 gets you a knockdown. Just as we mentioned in the punishment section, this is a 14-frame move that you can use the continuing version to go for mix-ups or this version to go for the knockdown. And the final move with a down-forward input is down-forward 4. This nice little low. This thing is pretty good, even though it's like minus 17 on block. It's pretty silly, but it's quick, works well, puts a little bit of side axis into them too. Kind of keeps a little bit of evasion to it because if they keep jabbing right away, they'll be a little bit off axis and they can miss sometimes. So down, forward 4 is a pretty reliable low poke. Very fast, standing, just don't get it blocked. So on to moves with a down input, not as many of these. There's down 1, 4, which is just a little pop like this. Special mid into a mid kick. Armor King used to do this a lot. Have a little down jab into a stand-up kick. It was very nice for stopping counter pressure. Down 1, 4 looks just like that. That's pretty much all it's for, is if someone's coming at you, you can do this duck jab and get that little kick to space them out a little bit. Down 2 is this mid elbow forearm sort of thing. This is only -1 on block and forces them to crouch, which is pretty nice. That basically is even in other terms. If you mash a jab and they mash their 4, it'll trade. So that's a nice little move just to kind of keep them from retaliating. They're forced into a crouch and the frame advantage is not good. They're going to kind of freeze there for a second. Down 3 we mentioned earlier as part of this string, the same as 3, 3. Your follow-ups are this launcher, which only launches on counter hit. They'll block it. The follow-up extension is -13. Be careful with that. But that's your down 3. We covered that as part of another string. Down 4, and specifically down 4, 1, is where it gets really interesting. This is one of the best tools Anna has. Because even though it's a low high, people can see that and start to duck. That's just where the fun begins. Because down, forward 1 cancels into sidestep. Actually cancels into sidewalk. If you just hold up or down, she goes all the way around. It's not just a simple sidestep. Whoop. You can do up or down, go either way from it, or you can hold back to go into Chaos Judgment again. So this is just an army of tools that Anna has. Off of this quick-ass little low, there's a million things she can do to you and go right back into offense again. Just any possible thing. There's a million choices there. So down 4-1 is a really, really good tool. You can even let it go. I mean, they're going to try to duck, as I said, but they're not going to get it every time. You can sometimes let it go, and then the next time cancel it into something else. The next time after that, cancel it into cat stance. Whatever you want to do. Choices are yours. Just keep it fresh, keep it mixed up all the time. And the last down input is down 1+2, Anna's unblockable. Never going to use it, not really good for anything. She used to have 2, and the other one used to be able to cancel to fake them out. This one, it is what it is, not very good. So, on to down back moves. There is down back 1-4. Now this is a little different than it was in Tag 2. There used to be down back 1-1, I think it was, that would hit low. And then 1-4 was a mid. This one, it used to be a launcher too, if I'm not mistaken. Now it's only launcher on counter hit, like that. If the 4 counter hits you, you get launched, but the combo itself is now natural. Down back 1-4 is a natural combo, and you only get the launch if the first one doesn't connect and they press buttons in between, like that. You get combos that way. So it's a little bit of a change. It's not a hard mix-up. It's a natural little combo. And if they, happen to get antsy at the wrong time, you're just doing this. You start throwing these out at them. Just get them conditioned to seeing this move by itself. This move that has a little spinny to it. And then all of a sudden they start to go, okay, he did that move again. Let me poke him back. Then boom, counter hit. That's what it's about with this character, is making them make bad decisions. That's down back 1-4. Down back 2-4. We just saw this. It's the exact same thing as down 1-4. I honestly don't know what any difference might be between these two. They both duck, jab, and then poke you. So, I don't know. They're there just to stop pressure. I don't think either one of them is a natural combo. They're just there. There's 2 different inputs for what's basically the same thing. Down back 3 is Anna's famous mudslide. A natural low launcher that should be seeable on block, but I just can't get myself to do it. My brain just does not recognize that move as mudslide until it's too late. It's in that range of 25, 26 frames. You should be able to see it. I don't know. I was never good at it. That's the one thing that kept hitting me. But, after so much time, everyone's going to get used to seeing mudslide and it's going to get blocked. But if you want to be risky with it, you do get a natural launcher off of it. Just be warned, it's your life if you're wrong. Down back 4 is this little low slidey kick that has 2 options. 3 is a second low, 4 is a mid. Both of these are going to combo on counter hit. 4-4 and down back 4-3. That's it. They're just a little bit of a mix-up. Pretty nice tool, honestly. It's not like super negative. They block that low, and this is a cool option to have too. So just another built-in mix-up string that just kind of takes away the monotony of the standing punch, elbow, pokey stuff. You have this thing. You started off with a low this time, and there's another mix-up waiting right for them. And the last down back move is also new to Tekken 7, down back 1+2. This thing is pretty interesting. It's completely new. It looks like her backhand slaps, but this is mid. Power crush and knocks them down at the cost of being -13. Pretty much all mid power crushes are unsafe, and this is no different. But that's a nice power crush move to have. That's pretty good. It's not super fast, but it's quick enough, decent range, armor, etc., knockdown. So that's a nice addition to the armor set. That down back 1+2 used to be the other unblockable for no good reason. This is a much better move to have. If you're going to replace a move, this is a pretty good choice to replace it with. Down back 1+2. Back input moves now are back 1-2-2, like this. Not a natural combo. I don't even think it's natural on counter hit. It's not. You're almost never going to hit anybody with this third hit. It's just kind of there to be, end combos with, I guess. Use it at the wall if you wanted to. I don't know. It's not a very solid tool. You could do that. But it's not a natural combo under any stretch of the imagination. It's -11. No jab punish you for it. The nice thing, though, is the back one itself takes a healthy sidestep to the left when she does it. Look, if I just press it one time, look where I'm standing relative to Nina. I'm 30 degrees to her right. That's a nice little evasion. You can just do these two by themselves as a nice little ducking tool. Things like the down forward 3-1 we mentioned, she takes that little bit of spin and cancels sidestep. This kind of fits that bill as well. A sort of built-in sidestep with back one. So the two by themselves are pretty useful. The third hit, you're never going to land. Back to 2 is a 15 frame Punisher. This is high, natural combo. They get knocked down. Damn it, stop blocking. And you can get that almost always for free. It's just a little bit tricky. That down forward 4 low poke. This is also homing too. This is one of her homing moves. Pretty good all around. Decent damage. You get the nice knockdown in the follow-up and continue your pressure that way. So 15 frame, high homing move is pretty decent. Back 3 we mentioned as the raw way to go into Chaos Judgment like that. And back 4 is Anna's other homing move. This case is a mid kick that's going to be, I think this is safe. Pretty sure this is safe on block. It's also fairly fast. It's in that 17 range or so. It's not like, you know, super fast, but it's pretty fast for just being able to poke, counter poke, and catch a sidestepping opponent. It's in a nice little area of speed for doing that. So her 2 homing moves are back 2 and back 4. So remember those 2, they're right next to each other. Jumping moves, we have up 3. Straight up 3 looks like this. Nina has the same thing. You see it at the end of like wall combos. It's got a weird ass hitbox. That's straight up 3 because up forward 3 is this. Looks similar, but she lunges forward and knocks you down. This is a pretty good overall move. This is something like -3 or -4 on block. Pretty solid. It's pretty solid to have. Gets you this knockdown and the pressure afterward, as well as crushing lows. So that's a decent option. Up forward 3 is a nice move. Up forward 4-3-4. Whoops. The can opener looks like that. 4-4-3-4. High, low, high. But if you press up or down, she cancels that third hit into a sidestep. That's all you're ever really going to use. People are going to get used to this and start low parrying it because there's not another option there. But it's kind of quick. Especially if it's online, it's pretty quick. You kind of have to have a really attentive opponent. And once your opponent does that the first time, stop it. That move is now dead because they're going to hit it every time. If they're trained to do it, stop doing that move. You notice I got by accident a couple times was this. This is by holding the up forward. Can opener is just tapping up forward +4. This is holding the up forward. Does this somersault kick, which is a launcher. Super duper unsafe on block. But it's a nice low crushing launcher if you want to just kind of go for it sometimes. Up forward 3+4, both of them together, is this. Not a move with a great roll necessarily. Jumps over lows, hits the mid. There's nothing special on counter hit. It's just it's there. It's something just to do. You recover in a crouching state, which is always good. That's maybe its best feature, is the fact that it is a crouching recovery, so you can use that part of Anna's game. Of all the things we talked about transitioning into Chaos Judgment and into sidestep, things that transition into ducking state are also very, very powerful. This would be one of those. And up forward rounds out with this string. 1-3, 3+4. This is a weird little number. On counter hit, you get the whole thing like that, right? Otherwise, it's safe on block at the very end. They need to learn to sidestep. Eventually, players will sidestep those last 2 hits and beat you for it. But if they're not sidestepping, you can get away with this all day. Because as soon as you do connect it and you get your counter hit, or they flinch and get hit by the last part of it anyway, you get a combo. A little bit tricky, but not too bad. Like that. You can dash up and do a down forward 1 to pick them up. So technically, this is a launcher. The last 2 hits are launcher, or the whole thing if you catch a counter hit. So it's a pretty good string overall. -4 if they stand there and block, but be warned, they're going to have to learn to sidestep it. And it's one of those things, again, as soon as your opponent sidesteps it, stop doing it. So that's all of Anna's jumping moves for the most part. Forward, she has a couple options, which are forward 2. This little high slap, which is +6 on block. Very, very good. Huge frame trap from that. I've seen this get comboed like that, but it's very hard, very situational, and not really like reliable. But if you happen to be, you know, near the wall, go for it. You know, there's no real harm in missing it out. The worst thing that happens is you dash up and down 4 and you hit him with the low. So it's worth trying to figure out situations where you can pick that up in combo. It's just very, very tricky. Don't rely on it. Otherwise, a very good move to just throw out a massive frame trap. You can use that all the time. Forward 3 is a launcher that is 15 at its fastest, as we mentioned in the punishment section. So it is overall pretty quick. You just have to be very good at buffering in the forward input. The first hit by itself is a straightforward launcher, nothing fancy about it. But it has other options too. You can do forward 3-4 like that. or forward, forward, 3, 4, 3, a triple kick that never really seems to hit anyway. There's a third hit that she blocks. And that third hit can be canceled, you guessed it, Chaos Judgment. So if you do forward, forward, 3, 4, 3, you get all the hits. If you do forward, forward, 3, 4, back 3, you get the Chaos Judgment, like that. If they get hit by these two, this is one of the sample combos it gives you. I've not figured out a way to turn that into a full combo, but it's there. If you're looking for the launch, I mean, this is kind of what you want. Doing the rest of it is you assuming it's going to get blocked, and you're just using it for a mix-up. Forward, forward, 4. Looks like this. She has a trooper roll where she jumps over lows and hits you, and is a launcher. This is 0 on block, which is pretty good. Some of these are negative, some of these are plus, depending on the character. So forward, forward, 4, a low crushing mid launcher that's 0 on block. Pretty good. You also, if you don't think you're going to hit, hold back for Chaos Judgment. If they do think you're going to block it, and then go for one of these things. The only problem is if it did connect, you kind of missed out on your combo. You're not going to be able to follow up there. So forward, forward, 4 is a launcher that's 0 on block, very good, and is another option for Chaos Judgment. The last forward, forward is 1 plus 2. Whoops. Looks like the Blonde Bomb, but she kind of has a little flourish at the end of it. Fundamentally the same thing, they're not all that different. It's a nice way to end a long-ass combo. If you used up a ton of hits, you don't have really any room left, you know, you kind of just run up and do that. Forward, forward, 1 plus 2. So that brings us to the last of Anna's moves, which are from crouch or sidestep. And this is where some really nasty stuff starts to come in. Anna's crouching game is very, very strong because she has while standing moves like anyone else. Real quick, they are 1, 2, which is we covered, same as down forward 1, 2. You get the strings off of it. While standing 2, basic launcher. Not very good launcher, but it's there. If you get a nice block, you can do that. And then while standing 3, hold back for Chaos Judgment. Those are decent while standing moves, there's nothing wrong there. But from full crouch, she has several other inputs, which are full crouch forward 1, which looks like that. You can't roll it in a quarter circle, you have to press forward plus 1. You let go of your crouch and then press forward plus 1. So this is one, this is her wall bounce move. We get to right about here. Like that. And is only -8 on block. So that's a pretty nice tool. Not a bad. This is... We've got nice range because she takes such a lunging step forward with it and safe on block. Pretty good. But if they get used to you staying in crouch and, you know, phoning in long attacks like that, they can move around it. Just be careful. It doesn't track very well. Full crouch forward 2 is this. This is another power crush. It's -14 on block, forcing your opponent to crouch. Some characters can launch you for that, some cannot, so just be warned. As a power crush, it's a decent one, but when you hit, you get this stomp for free. That's 39. 39 damage, just for not doing anything. Pretty nice option there. If you're terrorizing them out of your while standing your full crouch, this is your armor move to stop them from counter poking you. And if you do connect it, you get that stomp for free. The other moves are full crouch down forward 2, looks like that. This one you can kind of roll in a circle. You're just going from down to down forward. You don't have to let go of neutral necessarily for this one. This is a low, and it is a launcher once you learn how to time it. Like that. What I've been doing is I'm holding down forward. I'm in full crouch, holding down, and then I hold down forward 2. And I continue to hold down forward, which makes her walk like that. And as soon as I see her foot flinch, I press 4-1. Because crouching 4-1 is the exact same move as down 4-1. She can do it from a full crouch. So, basically I'm doing down, and I'm holding down forward when I press 2. And as soon as her foot moves, I let it go. It's a little tricky. Like that. So that whole time I'm holding down forward. Once I press the 2, wait for the crawl, then press 4-1 and let it go. That can take a little bit of getting used to, but it's not that hard. You're going to want to be able to get a full combo off of this low all the time. That's a pretty nasty option. This low is -20. You're going to get punished like crazy when they do guess correctly. But again, as I've mentioned, your job to keep them from guessing correctly. You have to stay nuts. Just keep going with everything you have in your arsenal. Whenever you get in an obvious crouching situation, don't always go low. Mix it up with mids. Mix it up with sidewalking, whatever it might be. So that's the low, that's the really, like, desirable move. You want to get that combo. So that's the one people are going to be afraid of. You have to keep it fresh. Don't abuse that low or else you'll pay the price for it. Keep the low every once in a while and it'll work every time. The last options she has out of full crouch are up forward 4, which is that same kind of launcher. And in this case, you just tap up forward 4 instead of holding it, because from full crouch, if you hold up forward 4, you get that instead, which, I don't know, seems kind of useless, considering you could just tap it and get a combo off of that. I'm not sure why you'd want to, but it's there. Maybe this one is safer, but I don't see how. She's a mile in the air. So that's the full crouch game. Basic while standing moves. I mean, obviously she can stay and just do low pokes from the crouch. Basic low pokes, basic while standing mids, including away into Chaos Judgment, and then the wall bounce, a power crush mid, and then a launching low. Nasty, nasty stuff. And the final piece of the puzzle is sidestepping. As we mentioned, you can be in full crouch and then sidestep, or you're down 4-1, which you can also do into sidesteps. Give you access to 3 killer moves. One of them is sidestep 2, this nice little low. Doesn't knock you down, even though it's -17. It's super, super risky. But again, you kind of have to take these risks with this character. You have to represent all the mix-ups, or else you're going to get predictable. So sidestep 2 is the low. Sidestep 1+2 is that mid launcher, which is safe. Completely safe launcher, just like that. The other option is sidestep 3, which is this mid plus on block. +1 forces them into crouch. Nothing on counter hit other than just the frame trapping from it. Go right back into offense from that. So 3 basic options, really good paradigm. Sidestep 2 low, sidestep 3 mid, sidestep 1+2 mid launcher. Good stuff there. All of those are what make up the arsenal. The sidestep game is strong, the full crouch game is strong, Chaos Judgment, and the crouch dash. So all the moves that can get you in and out of those things are how her flow of offense goes down. Rather than talking about Anna's top 10 moves or anything like that, I think it's more important to think about it in terms of the whole move set. Like, for example, her full crouch game and like the 5 different options. That's one of her best moves. She needs the whole thing to keep the mix-up honest. You can't just live your life by doing one move over and over again. Being predictable is the last thing you want with this character. So it's hard to say what some of her top moves would be, but knowing the strength of the Chaos Judgment stance and her crouch dash and full crouch and all that stuff, the moves that let you transition into those things are some of her best moves. So let's take a look quickly at all the things that do have these transitions built into them. To go into Chaos Judgment, you can press back 3 to do it by itself without anything else. Forward 3-2 you recognize as one of your tail spins. If you just press forward 3 and then hold back, you go right into it. All of these are going to be done by holding back. In some cases it cancels the hit, in some it doesn't. But like in this case, if you press the 2, it's already too late. You have to have just done the forward 3 and hold back. 2-3, the 10-frame Punisher is one. Hold back, there's your stance. She can do down forward 1-2-3, the Radiant Arc. That kick will get canceled altogether when you hold back. Like that. Down forward 3-1 is the same. When you hold back, she cancels the hit, goes into stance. Down 4-1, same thing. Forward 3-4 back 3. We talked about that earlier. How you can cancel the 3rd hit into the stance. That's an option as well. Forward 4, you hold back. And the hit still comes out. She still makes impact, but then it still results in the stance by holding back. Quarter circle forward 2-1 is the same. Cancels the hit, comes out, and while standing 3. Delivers the hit and then goes into stance. Those are the only ones that I know about. There might be a couple other ones in there that I never really figured out, but as far as I can tell, those are the major ones you're going to see. The most common would be your 10-frame punish is a good one, while standing 3 is a good one, and down 4-1. You're going to use that move a lot, especially because it also goes into sidestep. That's a nice one to have. Down forward 3-1 would also be pretty decent too. That's a nice one to have because it also goes into sidestep. Keep them guessing is the name of the game. To my knowledge, there's only 2 things that transition into crouch dash, and they are down forward 3-2 and the Chaos Judgment itself by just pressing down forward after each one of them. Down forward 3-2 is kind of cool. that in down forward 3-1 as well, they can both go into sidestep by pressing up or down, but one goes into crouch dash, the other goes into chaos judgment. They'll never be able to keep it straight as long as you keep on them quickly enough. So down forward 3-2 and down forward 3-1 also go into sidestep. Down forward 3-1, 4-2 also does it. If you complete all 4 of those hits, you can go into sidestep, but they're not going to let you do that because all of that shit is high. Once they see these strings start coming, like I said, they're going to want to duck. And at this point, they will have ducked several minutes ago before you're allowed to sidestep. But it is in there if you happen to want to use that as part of your mix-up and opponents aren't catching on to it, go for it. Down 4-1 is the other one. This goes into sidestep, cancels the hit, and goes into it. Especially because this is an annoying-ass low. That's one of the better ones. You have to perform the second hit and then cancel it. You have to press 4-1 and then press up or down to go either way. Or back for chaos judgment. So remember that one too. Down 4-1 is one of the best. And the can opener, up forward 4-3-4. Cancels out the third hit, goes into sidewalking. So those are moves that you're going to want to focus on because they get you into the stances that you want. And most of them are good moves in general. Down forward 3-2 is pretty nice. That 14 frame, you get the damage as a punisher and into your stances or whatever you want. And down 4-1 because it's a low. Combine that with your 2-3 10 frame punish and your while standing 3 11 frame punish. Those are the ones you're going to see more often than anything else. But the more of these that you can be comfortable with and work into your arsenal, the better. So let's also take a look at some other moves with special properties. Anna's screw attacks. She's got a million of them just because she has so many combo options that you'll never be without a proper screw attack. Basically anything that ends in like a 4 high kick is going to do it. 1-2-4. Just 2-4, 3-4, down forward 3-4, and down forward 3-3-3-3-4. All of those are screw attacks. That 4th hit, or that 4 kick, will cause a screw attack. Those you're not going to see a lot. There's not a huge purpose to doing them. The 2 that you're going to use the most are forward 2-3 and forward 3-2. Forward 2-3... even though it's a high, you'll get better coverage from the second hit, and forward 3-2, because it's a mid, the first hit can hit a little bit lower to the ground, but it's got shorter range. Those are 2 you're going to see more often than not. You can also get that same high kick out of down forward 1-2-4, or while standing 1-2-4, same string. You can use this off of moves that leave you recovering in crouch, for example. While standing 1-2-4 is a nice option. Down forward 3-2-4 is the last high kick to round that out. She can also screw attack with back 4. This one is surprisingly not as useful, even though it's a mid, it's kind of low to the ground. It's just not fast enough. This is a lot more reliable. But back 4 is an option, as is forward 2. You're not going to see it, but it can work. If an opponent happens to take to the air, this will cause a screw attack, for example. And the others are quarter circle 3-2 and quarter circle 3-3-4. Those are all your screw attacks. But again, like I said, forward 2-3 and forward 3-2. That's pretty much all you're going to worry about for the most part. Until you need some more specialized situational combos, stick with that. Her homing moves are back 4, back 2-2, and forward 2. That's a pretty good set overall. The forward 2 is a really nice move, very plus on block, knocks down. Back 2-2, even though it's also a high, also knocks him down. Back 4 doesn't really do anything on hit, but is the only one that's mid out of the group. Still a pretty good set of homing moves. Anna's power crushes are the full crouch forward 2, which is that slap to the ground, and then the stomp for free if it connects. Also keep in mind, not -14 if they block it. And down back 1+2. This is a nice one. This is very quick, deceptive, and knocks them down. But it's also a mid, and it's -13, because pretty much all mid power crushes are unsafe, which is only fair. So her 2 power crushes is actually a pretty good one. One of them works into her full crouch game, and the other one is just a nice quick little thing to throw out during counter pressure. However, if you feel like the opponent is going to start counterattacking you at a certain time, Anna has a classic reversal. She can grab your attacks and then flip you over and do damage instead. The amount of damage she does is based on the damage she would have received from the attack. So I'm going to record Nina just doing like a jab and then a basic mid attack. Like that. So when I grab her, it stops her attack cold, flips her over, does 37 damage. Now if I record Nina doing her unblockable, let's say, and I reverse that, $50 damage. So the damage is done during the reversal is dependent on what you were going to receive. This works on everything that's a high or a mid that's not like an elbow or a headbutt or sword or anything weird like that. The conventional Tekken rules from the way it was way back in the beginning. These can also be chickened. If the opponent sees it coming, they can press forward and the right throw buttons to break your reversal. But that's probably the best counter poke tool. In a game that has all the armor moves to stop opponents from coming back at you, a classic reversal is still pretty strong. Now we've arrived at the fun part, the launchers and the combos. Anna has a ton of different ways to launch you. Some are at the end of strings, some are part of the mix-ups, and lots of good counter hits. So for a character that's keeping you on your toes with just tons of offense and mix-up and cancels, she's going to get launchers all over the place. A lot of them can be situational, but for the most part, there are 2 bread and butter combos you're going to use on most of the stuff. So as far as her launchers go, she has the down forward 2, and again, I wish this for 15, but it's what you got. The up forward 4, if you hold up forward, remember if you just tap it, you get can opener. So you hold up forward 4 for this flip kick launcher. But if you're in full crouch, you don't hold up forward 4, you just tap. Those are both conventional launchers in the same way. They're just from different stances. Mudslide, down back 3. You have the second hit or the last hit of 3-3-2 or down 3-2. That hit launches on its own. You have the Frost Needle, the 1-2-1-4. Any string that ends with that. Down forward 3-2-1-4 does the same thing too. Forward 2, I have seen people catch launchers from it. It's just not very reliable. It has to be maybe a large character, kind of situational. I don't know. That can launch into a pickup, but it's not something I've really practiced, and it would have to be really, really perfect to get it down. Forward 3, however, is a pretty straightforward launcher. Nice for long range whiff punishing, covers some decent range. As long as you're ready to tap with forwards, that works pretty well. Forward 4 is also a launcher on its own. Remember, this was 0 on block and it's a low crushing mid. That's a pretty good one. Sidestep 1+2 is a safe mid launcher, backed up by the low from sidestep. Mid launcher there. While standing 2. Full crouch down forward 2 is a launcher. You just got to learn that timing for it. The hop kick out of Chaos Judgment, as well as the automatic hop kick that it does if they get targeted by a low. And both rolling states out of Chaos Judgment. If you do forward 3, you can combo that way. And if you do forward 4, you can combo the normal way. So those are all of the natural launchers that I'm aware of. Her counter hit launchers include a Magic 4. Some cases she might just want to stick to like a blonde bomb or something because the range is weird, but she can do Magic 4 back 4 and get full combos that way. It's just also kind of situational. If they're too far away, if they're off axis, it's a little bit tough to connect. So if you think you got it, go for Magic 4 back 4. Otherwise, just hit him with a basic follow-up. Down 3-2 or the 3-3-2 as we mentioned. If you get counter hit by that low, the second hit will launch you. The final hit of anything that ends like this, down 3-4-1, that has that new flip overhead palm strike that launches you on counter hit. Down back 1-4, that second hit by itself will launch you, but not if you get hit by the first one. Quarter circle forward 1 is a good one. You have all kind of combos off of that, and quarter circle forward 2. You just can't do any of the follow-ups. You'll lose the combo if you did quarter circle 2-1, for example. The second hit of quarter circle 3-2 also works the same way. Combo there. And counter hit from Chaos Judgment 3. You can pick up that. So those are the counter hits that I'm aware of. Likely to be some more out there. And pretty much any string that ends with that like 1-2-4, that'll give you a Magic 4 impact as well. For the most part. Some are different. They're not quite all the same kick, but you'd be surprised how many random strings out there will give you that knockdown. So, as far as those 2 B&B combos go, the one you're going to see most of the time on airborne launchers starts with down forward 3-2, you go into crouch dash, and you do the elbow. So you just hold down forward the whole time and press 1. Looks like that. Once you've input the down forward, you don't have to let it go all the way in through until you've done the elbow. Then after that, you do forward 3-2. So the whole thing looks like this. And there's your screw attack. You have plenty of room left to dash up and end like that, or wall carry, or whatever you want. You're going to see that on most airborne combos. For the most part, you should be able to catch that. And the other one for most of your crumple stun combos, you know, something like this, is down 4-1, forward 2-3. Use down 4-1 because it picks up so low to the ground, and then forward 2-3 is your best option. That's 4 hits into your screw attack. You can do whatever you want after that. So you're going to see that on most of your crumple stun combos. A couple of other exceptions would be something like this string. I forgot to mention that if you get counter hit by this, up forward 1, 3, 3 plus 4, you can combo like that. You got to do a nice quick deep dash, but the same thing. Down 4-1, forward 2-3. That works as well. If you get caught by the last 2 hits by themselves or counter hit by the whole string, that works. Say, you know, down back 1, 4. That would be the same pickup. Because they tumble down to the ground backwards, it's hard to hit them with anything else. So some things recover crouching. You might have some different options. Mudslide, you can do it while standing 2, and then do the same string. That works pretty well, very reliable. There's plenty of choices. You can do while standing 1, 2, 4, for example, whatever you want. But for the most part, I think it's better to stick with the 2 basic combos and then vary them as you need to, figure out what changes. Something like forward, forward, 4. That's kind of the only way to pick them up, a down, forward, 1. But from that point, you can just do, you know, whatever you're used to. Use the other crouch dash screw attack maybe, stuff like that. So learn the 2 basics. This one. And this one. Learn how to use those for every combo that's possible, and then alter, extend whenever you need to, based on a couple of different situations. There are a few mini combos, like guaranteed follow-ups, like we talked about. The one gets guaranteed damage for anything that's 15 frames or faster. A couple of places you can get a stomp for free, like that. Sidestep 3 knocks you down, you get that for free. And the counter hit on down 2, also the same thing. You get a stomp for free there. So they're just kind of like little mini combos. It's worth mentioning. You know, those knockdowns, you get that for free. Or you could give them a second to breathe and then start mixing them up with stuff like that too. It's all up to you. So learn the 2 B&B combos, learn how to specialize them for a few other things. And the other thing worth mentioning, by the way, is full crouch down forward 2. This is a little tricky. It is the same combo. Instead of down 4-1, you can do that from a full crouch. If you just press 4-1, you get the exact same thing. So what you're doing here is when you press down forward, you continue to hold down forward. She does that little creep motion. And all I do is wait for her to start that creep and then hit it. And that picks them up that way. If you do it too quick, it won't work. Just wait for Anna to do one little creep step and then pick them up. Just press 4-1 and then forward 2-3. So you might have to practice that a little bit, but once you get used to exactly how long you hold it before you let it rip, works like a charm. So like I said, learn the 2 basic combos, learn how to expand them, especially when it comes to getting near the wall. You'll learn how to change, you know, your crouch dash into this or turn it into an elbow. As far as wall carry after the screw attack, down forward 3-2 is one of your best options. That'll get him there, as well as letting you crouch dash up if you wanted it that way. That works pretty well. You could dash up if you wanted to, but that's generally a pretty good choice. Quarter circle 2-1 works well for good damage and the carry, or just a simple poke to cover the rest of that distance. So Anna's wall game is where it starts to get a little bit nuts. You have a lot of potential here to just go mix up crazy and keep your opponent pinned and frustrated with no room to breathe. As far as basic combos go, you can do pretty much everything you might remember from Tag 2, which would be down forward 1-2, hip check. Or you could do down forward 3-2, hip check. The problem is it'll cause that wall shift, which seemed like they got remedied in Tekken 7. When you hit with a shoulder, you wouldn't bounce out of the wall position like that, but Anna seems to do it. So that can be less than reliable in that situation. And besides that, you can do a whole lot better. The next best thing to do would be down 3-4-1. Looks like that. You get comparable damage, and you get that flipped over head first knockdown. If they don't tech roll that correctly, you get free follow-ups. Again, I like that full crouch forward 2 move. Seems to work pretty well. If they do stand up and block, you might be in trouble. So play around with some different options there. But really what you want to be doing is putting the mix-up game into overdrive. Do things that are low, do things that are unpredictable. Doesn't have to be max damage, it just has to be max frustration for your opponent. So the name of the game is to just be as wild as you can. You want to just do things that are even more unpredictable than you did in the first place. Sometimes you can just do silly things like a jab and then nothing else. And then hit him with the low mix-up and transition into something else. The more creative things you can think of to do here, the better. Like if you wall splat them and do this thing one time, sidestep into the mid. Do this thing the next time, and chaos judgment and do that mid. There's a million things. Keep in mind particular moves like maybe this thing that leaves them full crouch and lets you go for that low. That full crouch low is still really good no matter where it is. So the more creative, the better. Keep in mind what might resplat and what might not. If you wanted to do stuff like, full crouch moves after that. Kind of just back off a little bit, maybe just, let them think you're going to let them fall down. Just hit them. And then wait for them to stand up into something stupid, like this. Anything you could think of. Lows are a little more fair game here because people are going to be more hesitant to block low at the wall. They're much more scared of any kind of mid resplat than they are lows. So feel free to do whatever it is you want to do. You don't have to take stupid risks like mudslide or anything, but just hit them with all the crazy little lows that you have. Anything you could think of that's something different, 2 times in a row. Sidestep, low, down forward 1, mid. All that stuff is very good. For breaking walls and floors, she's got plenty of tools. To break, though, if this were a breakable wall, you could do a lot of things. The same forward 2, 3 again works. Forward would work. So would most of your crouch dash stuff. 2, 1, the elbow should work. Anything you can think of. Blonde bomb, that'll break the wall too. For breaking floors, you have 4 overall choices. Down 2 works. Down back 1 works. Down back 4-4 will work out in the open. It doesn't work as well against the wall because they're likely to recover in time, but it works out in the open just fine. And then down 3-4-1. That'll work and break the floor no matter where it is, as well as your flipped over knockdown, as I mentioned. That's a pretty good overall choice if you wanted to keep it simple, but you've got plenty of room to benefit from just being as wild as you can. Go into a crouch and then do the wall bounce. Just keep it varied, keep it fresh, like I said, about anything else. But now at the wall is your chance to just kind of go a little bit nuts. So let's take a look at the wall bounce mechanic now, since all that really does is get you a little mini launcher into a wall splat combo. Anna's wall bounce is full crouch, forward 1. And I think down forward 3-2-4 is a pretty good option for that carry. It's a chunk enough damage, it works from far enough away that it'll carry the rest of the way. You could try messing with other things, but it's really going to be situational based on the distance you are away. That's the thing with a lot of these is if you're too close and you get to the wall at the wrong time, you get nothing. Like in that case, I got the elbow that hit them on the wall, but we got there at the same time and she slumps out of it. So you really got to judge your distance correctly. Down forward 3-2-4 is fine, unless you get it just right where you can crouch dash in and then follow up. But for the most part, you want to think of it as 2 separate combo phases. The juggle that gets them to the wall and then whatever you're going to do at the wall in the first place. You do have the luxury of, hitting them to the wall, the down forward 3-2, down forward 3-2, and then sidestep and mix them up before you even get there. All that stuff is valid, but just keep in mind there's essentially a long distance wall bounce and then a short one. If you're close, you don't have as many choices. You can just do like a 4 kick, for example, and stick them back to the wall. Stuff like that'll work. And then do this thing. Or since you're a character like this, you can just go into one of your super long crazy strings. Do something like that weird stuff, and then sidestep, and then mix them up again. So play around with it, see what you can think of. If you're up close, go into a longer string, and then think about low versus mid versus reset, stuff like that. If you're far away, just make sure you get them back to the wall with something nice damage. But that's pretty much it. There's nothing crazy about how wall bounces work. They're just kind of mini combos. Pick a good one for long distance and pick a good one for up close. And if you're Anna, just do some wild stuff in between. Keep them guessing. And lastly are your rage attacks. Anna's one of the characters that has a high rage art, but it's like 13 frames on startup. It's like Jin, Steve, and Elisa's. It's much, much faster, but on block it's safe. The opponent has to recognize it and duck it. So it's fundamentally not that different. It's still launch punishable, but it's something they got to think about. If they happen to be sleeping, you know, they might forget about it. You can get away with it sometimes, but don't count on it. It's a really cool rage art in my book. It's just so perfectly Anna-like. I couldn't ask for anything better. She actually just smacks you with the bazooka first and then blows you away. It's perfect. I couldn't have done it better myself. So it's a really good rage art. They just chose to make it one of the highs. So that does have some limitations. If an opponent whiffs something, they recovers in crouch or a block low or something like that, it won't work on them. But in exchange, it's very, very fast, and it will punish a lot of things you would not have thought about in that 13 frame range. Anna's rage art is one of the better ones in that it starts a combo on normal hit and it can extend a combo already in progress. It is quarter circle 2+3, and you can do delayed hop kick. You can get kind of whatever combo you want out of it, stuff like that. It's a high launcher, so you can get that extra little bonus combo if you can think of good stuff. You might even be able to do like, a 6 or 7 elbow combo off it or something like that. But it is a launcher on normal hit. It's going to be plus 1,000,000 on block like most rage arts are. A combo already in progress. It will do this and give you that hard knockdown for a free follow-up. I'm pretty sure that this full crouch forward 2 is probably the best thing you could do. I tried a couple of other things like maybe a blonde bomb. You don't get 2 hits really for free. They can tech roll as soon as you touch them. So as far as big damage, that's the most thing that I could think of. 27 for free. That seems like a pretty good option for me. And it just kind of looks cool. They're on the ground, and you stay on the ground. I just like the way that feels. If you could think of something else, that'd be great, but there's not too many other single-hit moves she has. They're going to do too much damage. The hip check isn't even that much damage. It's the same. So, as far as I can tell, this one, that fits for me. It's a classic Anna move. I like using that. So, you end combos with it. You get that extra big chunk of damage, like you see in all the cool videos on the internet. 63 to 83. That was another 20 damage on top of all of that. So again, it's one of the good rage drives because it does both. At the wall, doesn't really change anything. You would still just get, a delayed hop kick or the same wall combo. But it does give you a free hit at the end of a combo and starts a combo on its own. So that definitely puts it in the book of one of the better rage arts. So that being said, they gave Anna some cool choices. They gave her one of the super fast rage arts, and they gave her a really good rage drive. So keep that in mind as well. The nice thing about the rage drive is that it's accessible through crouch dash. So you can use, your crouch dash that you've been annoying them with. Even though there's no lows, to keep it honest, it's a mid-attack, there is the Chaos Judgement, with they're fearful of these lows all day. This has been annoying them, and this has been annoying them. So when they start realizing, I got to do something about these lows, it's when you crouch dash cancel and go right into the rage art that way, or the rage drive that way. So it is legitimized by all the other options she has, just like the character in general. Everything she does works really well as long as you continue to use her counterparts and represent both halves of the mix-up. So I think that about covers it. I hope that at least gives you a start of what moves you can start to learn, and while you expand little by little. You have to be comfortable first and then creative second. So start in segments, learn some basic moves, basic transitions, and then start to get a little clever with it. Once you feel comfortable, that's when you can really start messing with people. So I hope this helps you out a little bit. Check out the rest of the stuff on my channel, the live stream at Twitch and Twitter, all that good stuff. The same address is Mastermind6000. So throw me some likes and follows over there, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.